What do you do when you get denied entry into a country? You find yourself getting in. Now you're an undocumented immigrant. You spend the first week with one outfit, and then all of a sudden, 4 lawyers end up screwing you over in a foreign country.
Y'all, we're going to talk about that and a lot more. A lot more, right? Because as we urge Americans to consider a life outside of the United States, outside of the purview of the melon felon, it is not all roses. It is not all perfect. And so what we're going to do is we are doing part two of our interview with Laboss. As y'all know, you saw from last week what was going on. Now we're going to get into the details of the story. But first, hey y'all, my name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, we talk about travel, and retiring abroad as we build generational wealth. We help folks who look like us. Who are Black folks getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even early.
Early is always a good thing.
That's right. So who are we talking to today?
We talking to the boss man again. Part 2, y'all. We're talking to the boss.
That's right. But first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know, back in 2018, we got a wake-up call, y'all. We looked at our money and it looked crazy. But we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. Y'all, if we can do it, you can do it too. All right. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you know every single time that we go live or drop a new video. And
give us that thumbs up.
Smash that like button so that YouTube knows that this is information that needs to be shared amongst our community. Isn't that right, Laboss?
That's right. That's right.
So if you are not following Laboss on YouTube, Laboss, what is your YouTube channel?
Yes, the Laboss, Laboss, Laboss Show. Make sure you guys head on over to my YouTube channel. I'm the young brother in Lisbon, Portugal, showing you guys life outside of the U.S., travel vlogs, life abroad, and more.
And unlike Charlemagne, and unlike other people who want to call themselves the God and all this other nonsense, Laboss stands for his last name. All right. Yep. It's not like he's sort of like, I'm the boss. Like, well, he is the boss. He is the boss. But it's also a play on his last name. Because some of these folks, like, I think it was R. Kelly who was talking about something like Jesus, something or other back in the day. And it's like, really, R. Kelly, what you doing? No, this is not this man. This man is the real deal. All right. So don't get it confused.
Out here doing the damn thing.
Out here doing the damn thing. Doing the damn thing. All right. So let's continue on because and for the folks who did not watch last week, let's just say you spent what, 3 years playing pro ball in Europe? Was it 3 years or 4 years?
3 years.
Okay, so 3 years playing pro ball in Europe, and your goal was always Portugal. Well, once you discovered Portugal, it was Portugal. It was Portugal, and you were like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but all I know is in the end, I'm about to get back to Portugal.
Yep. 100%.
And you did, and you played for one of our teams here.
Yep.
And they jacked you up. Like they didn't turn in all the paperwork. What happened? They didn't turn in all the paperwork. So you're playing, you're doing your job. You are doing your job. And then next thing you know, you find out that what didn't they do?
They didn't turn it in, did they?
Yeah. Never officially submitted the application. And yeah. I end up getting
Y'all,
denied.
so even if you transfer with a company, y'all, make sure that they are doing everything that they're supposed to do so that your visa is proper and in place. These are human beings. These are human beings on the other side, right? Like, even though it's a company, they're still human beings, and they make mistakes and they fall down on the job and they do all of this other stuff. But in the end, at the end of the
At the
day,
end of the day,
whose responsibility is it to make sure that they are in a country
comes right
legally,
back to you.
right?
I take full responsibility.
Well, I wouldn't take full responsibility. I take part responsibility if I were in your place. I take part of it. I ain't taking all of it, right? Right. Because you were told X, Y, and Z. You were told that everything was taken care of. All right. And so I'm not going to get, if you have not watched last week, y'all, you got to watch last week. Watch last week. If you're watching the premiere, watch this and then go back to get the front story to the back story. So bottom line is that you were in Portugal and you knew that your status was iffy because of what your prior employee did. And so you did what a normal American would do. You hired attorneys. How did that work out?
Whoo! So once I got pretty much back in, like I said, spent first week in the hostel with one outfit because, again, part one, suitcases arrived. And now I was like, okay, I need to get an attorney because I'm in the country and this is not my home country. You know, we only know what you don't know what you don't know. So a real estate agent connected me to his attorney. I met with him. I sat down with him and I said, listen, I'm an undocumented immigrant here. I ended up getting in. I need you to help me figure out how to get my visa from here because I am not leaving. I'm not leaving. So,
where I'm not going is back to that hellhole called the United States. So that's what's not going to happen.
like basically, once I got in, I'm in. There's no leaving. I'm figuring it out from here. I put my head down. This is the start of the Haitian pursuit of happiness story. So I met with the lawyer and I explained him my situation, explained him the situation that I was here playing basketball the previous year. I'm pretty much overstayed. Now I just got in after a whole episode in the airport. So, once you now get in, you have 3 months on a tourist visa, right? So I asked them, how can I get my residency from here, right? Because other people, other lawyers, whatever, you're technically supposed to do it from your home country. So he mentioned to me, you should open up a business. I told him my plans that I wanted to invest over here. I had mentors that wanted to, etc. I said, okay, how would this work? He said, okay, well, the taxes you would pretty much be paying, you can use that to then apply for the residency. Listen, I didn't look up nothing. I didn't know much. I said, okay, right? So he helps me open up a business in Portugal, right? And we pretty much did the code of like real estate investing, etc. And then here's the difference between Portugal and the US. As soon as you open up a business, you got bills to pay. This ain't the US where
that part.
Yeah,
that part.
Exactly. So this ain't the US where you have to, if you open up the LLC, it's not till you hit a certain threshold, et cetera, et cetera. You got taxes, which is a couple hundred. You got accounting fees, everything. I didn't know none of that. So again, I don't know no one in Portugal at the time. I'm not in any of I didn't know about any of these nomad groups, black expats groups, whatever, nothing. This is like, I don't know anybody. Yeah, this is brand new start of my journey in Portugal post basketball. I didn't know a soul except for like my one friend that lived over the bridge. So I went ahead and did that. He helped me open it up. I said, okay. Then all of a sudden, once I'm now in the finances and all these, the governmental buildings, they tell me about the taxes and I said, whoa, pretty much that starts exactly 1 month from the day you open the business. I said, whoa. So I went back to the lawyer. I'm like, oh, listen, you left out some important information, you know?
You failed to inform me.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, it was a miscommunication. I thought you said you're going to be investing right away, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, you need to help me close this. Like I just moved to Portugal from scratch, right? Like barely anything in my pocket from scratch. This is now when I'm starting to learn about income here and taxes here and the bureaucracy. I'm like, okay, this is a different economical system than the US, right? So basically, he was like, okay, let's see what we can do, right? So he was in, I'm forgetting what it's called, but since he pretty much opened it, he has to be the one to close it, right? Because of the like NEEF of the business and all this like other.
Either he was the fiscal responsible person or he was the power of attorney.
I think it was both, if I'm not mistaken.
Could be, right? Because it might be a combination here in Portugal. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So now I'm pretty much trying to get in touch with him to, we leave that meeting like, okay, we'll see what we can do to close it. I'm like, okay, you have to help me close this. Now I'm not getting no responses. I'm messaging, calling, texting, not hearing nothing. I'm like, oh gosh. So now I'm like, okay, I got to just take this upon myself to figure this out, right? Before these expenses start coming. So I'm now calling the business finances office. I find like I'm just talking to anybody I know that can point me in the right direction. Like I'm going to I'm somebody, I show up, right? So I go to the building. I'm waiting hours because once you go to these governmental buildings in Portugal, you better bring a book, and
a lunch and some water and everything else.
Everything. So yeah, after pretty much a couple weeks, it was just another real estate agent that I met here. He's from Guinea-Bissau, right? So I'm like, all right, well, you can help a brother out here. I don't know what he pretty much like connected me with someone to then call that. They pretty much on the phone was even saying like, hey, he's supposed to be the one to close it because of the code or whatever. So I finally just got him I told him like, hey, just email me the code. I'm going to do it. I'll take everything from here because I already knew he wasn't going to do it. I was like, just email me the information to do that. So after a whole episode, the lady on the phone, she was Portuguese. She was like, what? You did what? Like, he told you what? Like, she even felt for me. And then boom, she ended up, yeah. So she wasn't even supposed to, but she ended up helping me close this and everything like that. So I got that target off me. I'm like, man, so just that was lawyer number one, right? So at this time now, go ahead.
Let me pause you.
Yeah.
Because Americans have a certain way of thinking, and you have that certain way of thinking because you believe that the way it works in America is the way it works everywhere.
100%.
So, right, so no matter we get from all the time from our clients. So how do I come there and buy a house and get a mortgage? And I'm 68 years old, baby, you get a 2-year mortgage. That's what you get. You'll get a 7-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Right. Or I want to come there and start my business, but you only have a 2-year residency. What's going to happen if they don't approve you for year 3? You still have all of this financial obligation to a country where you don't understand the laws and you don't understand the tax system.
Mm-hmm.
So before coming here to any other country and starting a business, and I know that Laboss was urged to do something like this in order to speed up his process. But this is a teaching moment where you don't just go to another country and think you won't start a business and you're going to pay the Secretary of State $50, right? And now you got your LLC and you're going to do X, Y, and Z. And until you make a certain amount of money, you ain't got to pay nothing. That is not necessarily the case in other countries. So do your homework and don't just listen to YouTubers and think you've done your homework. You need to call the people, the professionals who are obligated to tell you what's what. All right, let's go on.
No, say that again, 100%. That was the approach I took. I thought in my mind, oh, it's like an LLC. I open up the business, not the case. Right. So now give context, right? So this is, end of 2022. I'm living in a hostel, right? So to get to Portugal, to get on this journey, I was like, our biggest expense is rent, right? So I'm starting life in a new country. I can save money on rent by volunteering in the hostel, right? So you volunteer. I was in a room, 6 people to the room, right? We're volunteering every day at like 5 days a week. That was also while I was doing my physical therapy on my torn shoulder. And my plan was I'll do that and I'll find my way to get into real estate. So this episode happens. Now I'm like, okay, my main focus is how do I, get technically legal here, right? So I'm asking people questions. I'm meeting a lot of foreigners in the hostels, come and goers, etc. And I'm meeting some American brothers. I met a brother from Chicago that was just traveling from Brazil. And I was like, yo, how are you doing it here? Like, how you been traveling? Like, I'm a software engineer. I work remote. I said, okay. I've been hearing this software engineer thing a lot. Okay. I was like, so you work remote? I was like, hold on, let me ask. I was like, you was just in Brazil working remote? He was like, yeah. I'm like, so you was making American salary while living in Brazil? I'm like, hold up. Bells is ringing, right? The bells is ringing. I'm like, okay, financial, make money, live less expenses. Okay. Next thing you know, like 2 days later, I met another brother. He was traveling the world for 6 years. 6 years. Wow. Same thing. I was like,
wow.
Years. I'm like, bro, what do you do? How are you doing it? He's like, I'm a software engineer. I'm like, okay. This is and then he's like, yeah, like I'm in tech. I've been in tech for a couple of years. When you work remote, I mean, you just need Wi-Fi. I'm like, hold up now. I'm like, okay. So pretty much from there, I asked, I'm meeting other people, same thing, nomads, everything. They're traveling here and there. And then a couple of them, I'm hearing about the digital nomad visa, right? And then, so now, and then also the Portugal route I'm hearing is the manifestation of interest. Do you guys know about that? The manifestação de interest?
No.
So that was pretty much like at the time, I don't even know if it exists anymore, but that's pretty much at the time, like, people can come here. The Portuguese language countries can come here on tourist visas, the Brazilians, Cape Verdeans, Angolans, whatever. And then you have 3 months. And as long as if you want to stay, you apply for the manifestation of interest that you plan to stay in Portugal. You just need a work contract. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So I have heard of that. I just didn't
know what it was called exactly. Yep. Because I so many people that we interact with are Brazilian. So
okay.
More Brazilian than African, interestingly enough. But
got it. So pretty much I'm hearing about those two, right? So now I'm like, okay, let me find a new lawyer, right? Because again, you don't know what you don't know, right? So I contact through another agent connection connects me with his lawyer. So he pretty much explains, he's like, listen, first off, you have 3 months because you're on the tourist visa. He was like, we can also extend that tourist visa for another 3 months. I said, oh, okay. Yep. So he was like, while we figure out what route because again, I went to him, I need you to help me get this figured out from here. Oh, well, normally you're supposed to go back to your home. Once I hear that, I'm like, all right, I just told you, you know what I'm saying? But I still got to play the game. I still need help. I don't know, I'm lifing now. This is my first year, life after playing professionally, everything, right? So he was like, okay, while we figure out the routes of the visas, let's get all your documents and set up everything to then apply for the 3-month, the tourist visa, the extension of the tourist visa, right? So we get all those in order. So now at this time, I leave the hostel. I ended up getting a sublease from my friend because again, it was just a lot going on over there. And now I'm staying at my friend's place as she was away for the holidays. So we gather up those documents for the 3-month extension. And now we go to that appointment. We go to that appointment now, and his assistant lawyer is now with me at this appointment. And I don't again, this is when I realized I really have to learn Portuguese because I'm nervous about going to these governmental buildings because remember, I am an undocumented immigrant, and the whole episode that happened at the airport, right? So we go to this appointment and they're talking in Portuguese. I'm like, man, so I bring out my phone, I bring out Google Translate. I'm trying to translate words, that I'm hearing, everything like that. And basically we leave the appointment and I asked, hey man, what was it? Like, what did they say? What was the result? She pretty much said, so they know about what happened, right, at the airport. So if you guys haven't watched part 1, when that situation happened at the airport, when he was going to put the denial stamp, I told him, hey, do not put this in the system. I don't need this, if you're going to, and he goes, okay, I won't. But he did. So they saw it. Yeah. So they saw it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm in there. Yo, I was like, what? And again, I don't speak if I had heard that.
You know what? I would go back to that airport.
No, I don't.
I would look for him. You legal now?
Not until you legal.
Look for him. I would look for him. I'm like, brother.
What good is he gonna do? He gonna say I was doing my job.
Yeah.
They paid me. You don't.
Because humans can feel bad.
Yeah, but he ain't felt bad because he put him in the system.
That's because he was a stranger. But when you show back up, you're no longer a stranger. Now you're an acquaintance.
Yeah.
And he's gonna look at you and he's gonna say, "Now I wonder if he put the stamp in before you were supposed to catch that flight to Europe."
So
this right then and there.
No, so the stamp isn't in the passport. He put the case.
The information.
Oh, just the information. Okay.
Yeah. No,
okay. All right, never mind.
Yeah, I was like, nah, do not.
So that just reaffirms the fact that Portuguese are kind people. Okay.
Yeah.
You can already go whoop his ass.
I'll go whoop his behind. All the bosses.
Man.
That's right.
Yeah, you know the boss. I'm gonna kick you.
Yeah,
I'm the mama, and I'm about to kick your behind because you did this to my son, surrogate son.
Yeah, it was just, I was like, So now that they know that was in the system, this is the lawyer pretty much told me, they're like, look, they know you're undocumented here, and this is the lawyer. She was like, this isn't US, this isn't the UK. They're not going to show up at your door. They're not going to deport you. They were just like, he just pretty much advised that you go back to now get the visa to then come back. And then, so I was like, so I was like, okay, what is the lawyer said? Like, cause that was the assistant. So that's another thing I didn't really like. I wasn't even at the appointment with the lawyer that I paid. Like it was his assistant, So I was like, what did he say? He said that, he would check with his contacts on the ground at the, what's the name of the system everybody uses in the States? It's like in DC, San Francisco. VFS. Check with his contacts at the ground at VFS to see if this is able to be doable from here in Portugal. He came back to me with like, no. So he goes to me. So you pretty much have
First of all, let me just stop you right there. Do not listen to what VFS tells you.
Yeah. Look, I know.
Like I'm telling this to the audience. They are administrators.
Yeah.
They do not know what the embassy and the consulate has to say. So a lot of times they give bad information. So do not listen to VFS. Their job is to administrate and check the box to make sure you have all of the documents. Period. The end. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
So pretty much the lawyer says the main lawyer says to me, yeah, this isn't going to be possible. Okay, after that appointment, she was pretty much just like, you have two options, right? You have either the manifestation of interest route, right, where you get a work and job contract here, right, and then we do that route, or you go back and then to then apply for like the D7 or the D8 to then come back. So she was like, think about it. We'll have a follow-up appointment and try to, get together our contacts, etc. I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, I'm not going back. So let's go to that.
We got to find this loophole. We got to find the way.
So I go to this appointment now. I go to the follow-up appointment with the lawyers. He was like, yeah, we checked with our contact on the grounds. This is not possible. You're going to have to go back to do this. I said, okay, thank you. I was like, there's always a way. And I just left it at that, right? Like, there's always a way, right? Like, anything you want to make happen in life, there's always a way. It may not be the fastest way, the normal way, the legal way, the right way.
The cheapest way. Well, there's always a legal way, but maybe not the cheapest way.
Cheapest, yeah. There's always a way. And what's interesting is in that moment, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Grant Cardone, very successful real estate investor back in the
real
States.
estate, yeah.
Yep. So he had a situation where he was facing to have to pay a lot of taxes in the upcoming year. And he went to his accountant. How can we write most of this off, this and that? And pretty much his accountant said, there's just no way. It's not possible. And he fired him. He was like, it's America. There's always a way. He ended up like, doing the whole buy. He bought a private jet, right? Held meetings and everything on the jet before the new year to then write it off for the next year.
Write it off. Right.
Write it off. Wrote off the whole. So it's crazy because when the lawyer said that to me, that interview came in my head. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make it happen. So now, again, so guys, remember now, so context of what's going on in my life, right? So I went from the hostel with 6 people, volunteering every day while doing treatment on my shoulder, to then I subleased my friend's apartment because she was away.
Right.
Now I also realized I need to get a remote job, right? Like this whole, I'm meeting people from Spain, Australia, UK, US. I said, hold up. I have and this is something that a lot of people watching may not agree with, but when you leave the States, you have a privilege, right, of that American passport, right?
Yes.
And I didn't realize that, I did not realize that at all. So I was like, hold on, I need to get a remote job, right? So I ended up getting a whole remote job. It ended up being a whole situation because I couldn't leave the country, right? So my cousin flies me up the laptop for me to start the job. Like this is I'm figuring it out, right? Because at this point too, it's also freedom for me. I'm still doing treatment on my shoulder. And then, after looking into, salaries here, the bureaucracy here, and then also being an undocumented immigrant, like a lot of these immigrants that are coming here and they're hustling, right? At least I knew I have a step up having that American passport, being from America, right? So now I'm like, okay, this is life. Work smarter, not harder, right? And that's why I didn't want to go the manifestation of interest route. I got friends. I have Cape Verdean friends that have been waiting 2 years just for their appointment. Just for the appointment. So I'm like, okay. So now all that, situation happens. Now my friend ends up coming back. So I end up I'm hustling now. I'm on the couch. So I'm living on a couch in Portugal at this time, right? Just figuring it out while at the same time applying for the job. Like I'm going to a Padaria Portuguesa to take my interviews, go back, sleep on the couch. Like I'm hustling, pursuit of happiness, hustling. I'm not going back. And another thing about this, I'll get into it, about the journey is you can't really, what I'm doing doesn't make sense to a lot of people because I'd rather struggle and hustle where I want to be than make sense than go back to figure it out to then now come back, because all the time, why don't you go back? Is probably what a lot of people are thinking and saying.
Yeah. Why didn't you go back?
At that point, for me, I was like this.
Like, what does that mean to you? Going back, what does that mean to you?
Yeah. For me, it was just when I stepped on this journey, I was just like, this is home. Right. So, I've struggled in the past. I've hustled in the past. So for me, I was just like, okay, if I got to do this to make this home, then that's okay. And going back was like, so I saw myself that I'm like, I just jumped off a bridge, right? And I'm flowing. I'm either going to just land face down, right? Or I'm going to land on my feet and just figure it out. And going back, I'm starting over.
Or do a cannonball into the water.
Yeah.
And have fun.
Yeah, because at the time too, right? Again, I'm starting life fresh. Over here, you don't have a car bill. I don't need a car. I don't need a car here, right? I'm not gonna have a crazy health insurance bill, right? My rent's gonna be more. Expenses are just gonna be more. So I'd be going back to the now save up to now try to get a car, to save up for all these other expenses now, right? To then get back. Whereas just like yes, I didn't have much at the time, but at least it was manageable, right? Because it's Europe, it's a different lifestyle, you know? So yeah. So now I'm kind of just like I gotta just figure this out on my own, right? I just went through it with these lawyers. I gotta just figure this out. So I told myself, okay, I got I ended up getting the remote job. Let me figure out like that visa and stuff. So I ended up gathering all the documents for that visa, right? All the paperwork. You need your fingerprints, background check, you know, all that stuff. And you have to get your. So now I'm like, okay, I don't even know where to get my fingerprints, right? I don't even know how to do that. So I spoke with another lawyer who was like, hey, so what you can do is you can go to the police station to do your fingerprints or hire a private inspector. I was like, well, I'm not snitching on myself by going to the police station, you know? So I was like, okay, let me do the whole private inspector thing, right? So I'm looking up on Google private inspectors to do fingerprints for background checks. So you know how when you're on Google, there's multiple pages, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going through each one, right? I'm going through each one, right?
I wish we would have known you with these.
Yo, it's crazy because everything that I had done and went through, it would have been, it would have, I don't know, like it was supposed to happen.
Because Laboss, I called the FBI and asked, how can I do a background check from XYZ country?
Yeah.
I called the FBI directly.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they told us,
they told us
oh, it's no problem.
We'll send you the little
send you the documents.
They sent a PDF of the fingerprint card. They said you can even print it out on regular copy paper.
Yeah.
And just go. They said go to the store and get some ink and do your own fingerprints.
Wow.
And FedEx it to us. And that's what we did because we weren't in country either when we had to get this done.
Yeah. Wow.
So teaching point, y'all, get into the expat groups, the Facebook groups, and ask these questions. Because had Laboss been in the groups, he would have known, he would have learned that he didn't have to go through all this.
Yeah.
You could have just printed something out on some Xerox paper.
Yeah. It was great.
We know because we've been through it. All right, go on.
Yeah. So basically I went through each page. Y'all know Google Images, I'm calling everybody. Hey, can you do my fingerprints? Oh, we're out of business. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, no, we don't do this for visas. Oh, this is for more private stuff. I'm like, okay. So I get to the 6th page of google.com. And the last, listen, I'm persistent. Like I'm persistent, I'm going to make it happen. I'll tell you exactly how I got, I was on the couch at this time. I'll tell you how I got into the guest house. I get to the 6th page, the last person. So imagine if I was like, oh, let me stop. I'm telling him my situation. He goes, this guy, his name is Tony. Shout out Tony. He goes, I love your energy, brother. He was like, listen, man, like I love how you love Portugal. He's like, I'm Portuguese. He's like, but I moved to New York. I met an Italian here. He had an Italian accent. He's like, I met an Italian here, et cetera, et cetera. He was like, listen, from what you just told me and what you asked me, I can't help you. But what I can tell you is this. What you're trying to do right now, because remember, I was trying to go through VFS at the time. He was like, you're trying to use VFS, which is a third-party company, right? That hires, like they're hired to take all these applications and all these. He was like, you need to cut off the middleman. I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, cut off the middle. What is he talking? I'm like, cut off the middleman. He was like, listen, you need to cut off them. He was like, they are the middleman. He was like, right now you're trying to use them these other embassies, these other countries hire them. You need to go directly to the source, which is the embassy. He was like, I'm like, okay. He was like, cut off the middleman. That never left me. This is life teaching moment. I'm like, cut off the middleman. I'm like, okay. He was like, I'm gonna tell you a governmental building office. It's in Parque de Nações in Orient. He was like, go there, explain them what you told me. You may be able to even do the visa and process there. I'm like, all right, cool. Hung up. Next day I went. Yo, I'm hustling. So yeah. So again, so the whole time, like I couldn't even sleep. Like I'm in my bed, like cut off the middleman. I'm like, okay. So the next day, I go to this governmental building office and I wait in line and everything like that. Basically, I would have been able to do it because remember, this is 2022 at the time, going into this is 2023, excuse me, but technically like post-COVID. They basically said, hey, you're not able to because this is for British citizens. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, this is for British citizens trying to come to Portugal, et cetera, et cetera. But for me, I took that as like, I'm one step closer. Everything that kept happening, I'm like, I'm one step closer. And from there, cut off the middleman. So now getting out of my housing. So I go from managing a guest house. So I was managing to get to the guest house. So for those who don't know what a guest house is that are watching, think of like a college dorm setup, right? We have hostels and guest houses here where it's a bunch of private rooms. People, you Airbnb them, booking.com, and then you have common and shared spaces like there may be like a living room space or like common bathrooms. So after being in the hostel, I realized I need my own room. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to get a job. I was working on my brand at the time. I'm trying to start my entrepreneurship while also trying to do the impossible in Portugal. I was like, I can't be 6 people to the room. So I spent like 2 weeks the same way I got to Portugal. I'm emailing and I'm calling hostels and guest houses seeing, hey, do you have private rooms? Y'all don't even got to pay me. I'll manage the room. I'll manage the building. All I ask is instead is exchange for the room because I got my remote job. I'm good, right? So I move on faith. I keep going. So I was just doing this every day. This is while I'm on my friend's couch. And I remember one day, I even went, like I was even fasting at the time because I was like, I need to just focus and I need this blessing. Like God bless me. I'm a pray and fast over this, right? I spent like 2 days walking around Lisbon, like, because I don't just call, I go. So I'm showing up to hostels. Hey, is the manager here? Hey, can I speak to the manager? Like everywhere. And next day I get on a call, a guy answered, he goes, oh, you know what? We actually are looking for a new manager. He was like, when can you start? I'm like, right now. Tell me right now. I'll pull up right now. He was like, we actually have a new building going. You know, Rua Augusta, the main tourist street, when you leave Praça do Comércio over the bridge? Yeah, it's a building right off. It was Rio dos Sapateiros. There's a building right next to there. So I'd be managing 2 buildings. I was like, I'll take it. I don't even remember how much. They still paid me a little bit, but I don't even remember how much because I was like, I'm good, right? I just need the room. So room was very small. I'm now managing 2 buildings. This is how God is good. I'm now volunteering from a hostel, 6 people to a room, you know, staying at my friend's spot, couch. Now I'm managing 2 buildings in Lisbon, Portugal. I think it was like a total of like 14 rooms while also doing the remote job. So I'm typing, oh, something messed up. I gotta go. I got 2 phones at the time. It was a stressful job, but it was what I needed at the time, right? So now I'm like, okay, cut off the middleman. So I'm in the guest house room one night. I'm just pacing in the small room. I'm like, cut off the middleman. I was like, okay, how am I going to do this, right? So I was like, cut off the middleman. I was like, I need to get to the embassy. Cut off the middleman. I was like, okay. I was like, let me start thinking. I was like, there's a lot of Brazilians and Cape Verdeans here, right? And there's a lot of Brazilians, Portuguese, and Cape Verdeans in Boston, in Massachusetts, where I'm from. That's the number 1 migration spot they go when they leave Portugal and they get to the States. So I was like, there's no way these locals here are using VFX. Yeah. When they're trying to go, I was like, okay, there has to be things was just hitting me like on some, I was like, there has to be a Portugal embassy in Boston. There has to be. So now I go to google.com. That's our best friend, right? Google.com and YouTube. So I go to Google. I'm typing in Portugal embassy, Boston, Massachusetts. I see like 2 numbers. And then I said, I was like, oh, okay. Let me call these numbers, right? So I call a number. It goes to an Indian hotline. I'm like, I don't think, Indian hotline. I'm like, oh man, this might be not it. So then I call another number. An Indian person picks up. So I'm like, hey, I'm trying to, I'm in the process of trying to get my visa in Portugal. They don't know where I'm at, right? I'm in the process of trying to get my visa in Portugal. Can you help me out, etc.? Like, they're like, you have to email the embassy. Here's the email. So the email is not even on like the website or whatever. He gives me an email. Yeah. This is like they are gonna make you work. They're gonna make
you gotta
work.
want it. You gotta want to move to Portugal.
Yeah.
The days of it being easy, those days are over because too many people had too many people had weird expectations.
Yep.
And left.
Mhm.
Now they're like, you gotta want it.
So yeah, you have to want it. So now I find the email. So I send them an email, no response. Send them another no response. I'm like, y'all gonna respond to me today. Y'all gonna. So I sent them. So I pretty much in the email I said, guys, not guys. I said, how you doing? I'm looking to apply for residency and visa and residency in Portugal, and I even emphasized that I was like, VFS says you have to go to New York, DC, or California, and then as being from Mass, I was like, I wouldn't want to travel to New York for this appointment. I was like, can I apply for the visa at the Boston embassy? I get a reply back. They said, yes, you can, as long as you're a Massachusetts resident. Bingo. Cut off the middleman. I was like, oh man, shout out Tony. Shout out Tony. So I gather all the documents. So I end up doing the fingerprints through the US. So after this whole episode, I now find out you can just do the fingerprints at the US embassy in Lisbon. I was like, oh my goodness.
You cannot at the US consulate in Mexico.
Because that's
at that time they might have changed.
They might have changed, but in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, they're like, nah.
And the police, you couldn't do it at the police station either.
Unless you were a criminal.
Wow.
And then, yes, come on in and we'll get your fingerprints.
So how did you guys do? Did you guys go back to do
No, we did it ourselves.
We went to Walmart and got an ink pad. They sent us they emailed the PDF to us. We went to, what was it?
I don't know. We went to some place and got it printed on cardstock. That's the PDF that the FBI sent to us.
Wow.
Got the ink stamp, and we were, literally like
just do it. Yeah, see? That's
and a big fun part was also trying to find a place where we could have stuff printed out. So we had to go to the hood, which was not a bad hood, not to say it in a bad way, but we had to go to a neighborhood, to
a very local
working neighborhood,
family neighborhood,
where this
no English.
Yeah, no English, and it wasn't really a real store, but it was like
you know how it goes.
Yeah, they called it a
I don't know, but it was like a bodega. It was a bodega. She had 2 laptops there. This was their version of Kinko. She had 2 laptops there. She was behind the scenes. She had some stationery in the background, and they were working it out. But let me tell you, I had to use my Spanish.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah. That's where I know it. Yeah. So did you guys go to Portugal straight from Mexico?
Yeah.
So we went, we had our scouting trip in Portugal. Mm-hmm. We started from Portugal straight to Mexico, knowing that after Mexico, we had our appointment with VFS. Yeah, that VFS that we've been talking about all this time.
San
Francisco. And Rick was looking at the paperwork and saying, "Oh shoot, our FBI background check is too old."
Yeah, fingerprints.
Oh, yeah.
I totally forgot when I scheduled all the flights and everything. So I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So
Yeah.
that's called. I called the FBI directly because see, I don't like searching around on online. I'm not doing all that. That's
Yeah, yeah,
labor. That's labor. I ain't trying to do
yeah.
all that labor. I'm calling the source. I
But
called the
listen,
FBI and said, "How do I get this done?"
yeah. So
Now, had I been you, they would have said, "Oh, you could go to the embassy." But they already knew that the consulate where we were at didn't do
Didn't
it.
do it.
didn't do it. Oh, okay. Okay. Listen, let me tell you something. When you're an undocumented immigrant, you're not really trying to call the source, you know, like
Right.
just some
Okay.
little bit guys.
All right.
We're good.
When we called the FBI, like he didn't ask who I was, he didn't ask for our passport number, he didn't know, like I could have given him any old kind of name.
Mm.
Now, of course, they probably could trace the call.
Yeah.
They got bigger fish to fry. Like they trying to
Yeah.
catch international crime. They ain't trying to see, who's trying to get a background check and people
Yeah.
who are not trying to traffic people, drugs, or whatever else bad guys traffic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? They're not worried about we little folk.
Yeah, literally. And we're just trying to get our visa. So wow.
Exactly. So that was an opportunity. So again, learning tip, if you are a digital nomad and you're traveling around, you do not necessarily have to go back to your home country to do the FBI background check if you are an American.
Yes. Emphasize on that.
Emphasize
so
on that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing about it is that if you are abroad, and you're doing what you need to do, then you can call you can call the agencies. You don't have to worry about it.
yeah. So now I get all these documents, get everything ready, and I'm still realize that I still need some help, right? I still need some lawyer help because again, you only don't know what you don't know. So now this is around April 2023. I meet with new lawyers, but now I come with my knowledge, my information, everything, right? So I told them same situation. These were the first lawyers that were like, okay, like we'll help you out the best we can. Like, let's see, right? Well, so they pretty much mentioned we'll attack both visas, right? Rather than saying it's not possible. So I already had everything ready for the D8 visa, and they said they would help me do the manifestation of interest visa, right? That whole process, set up that appointment. Now, I wasn't really for that, but they pretty much said, hey, listen, you just need to have an appointment set in the system, just in case everything was to happen. I said, okay. So they start that process. I have my documents for the D8. My now appointment is now booked for May. So my appointment is now booked for May to pretty much like the first step of the whole like process, right? Now we leave that appointment. They're helping me now with the manifestation of interest part. Here is where I mess up, right? So I pay them up front. Yeah. So again, another life lesson, don't do that. So now we're going through the process. I'm texting them, no response. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is not happening again. So ghosted, right? Because it's not like I paid them half and they're waiting for the other half. Like they got the money, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm off that visa route. I'm off them. I'm gonna just, again, figure it out, right? So now I'm jaded from lawyers. At least he frustrated for me. It was just like, again, another teaching moment on this journey. So now I have the appointment, right, for the first steps of the visa, and it's like now life just punched me in the mouth again, right? So I lose my remote job. I lose the job from the guest house, right? So pretty much both jobs. And that's also my living situation, right? So now I have to find a new living situation, right? So pretty much like in a week, I find the place I have now. It was on Idealista. My room has the price was lower than originally than what it's supposed to be. Like in the summer, because prices are normally higher, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let me just visit, right? So I visited. I was trying to look to see if there was like mold, hole in the walls, nothing. I was like, why is it this price? They pretty much said, hey, it's this price because nobody wants to take it because there's no, like, I don't have a window to the outside. It's a renovated room, but it's an ensuite. So I got my own bathroom. The window is to the living room. I was like, I'll take it. I was like, I'll take it. I'm good. I'll take it. I need the heat. You know what I mean? So now we're trying to just, the appointment is now set. And then now I'm kind of just, took the, like, I just took like a month off to just breathe, now, August here in Portugal, everything like that.
Closes down anyway.
Sorry?
Everything closes down anyway.
Yeah. So tell them about that. Like in August, you can't get nothing done. Nope. Yeah. So now I'm just September's coming. I'm just hustle mode, get a new job, right? Because again, I'm on the visa to have a remote job, right? So I end up getting this housing. Now I'm just trying to try to get a new job. And now I pretty much was like, again, I still just need lawyers. Like I still need a lawyer to just help me like figure out this situation. So let me ask you guys a quick question. Did you guys speak with a lawyer during this process?
No.
Okay.
We didn't have to. We just went with a immigration specialist.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So basically now the appointment is now happening, right? And I'm in the guest house at pretty much like I was at that time, and I have all the documents. We have everything, but we pretty much was told I didn't have the money in the bank account for the appointment, right? So I pretty much told them. So I appointed now the appointment guy is in the States. I'm in Portugal, right? The first appointment is you have to go in and submit your documents. But remember, if I leave Portugal, mission over.
Get back in.
Mission over. So I'm figuring out try to do this and that. My mentor, other people had mentioned the POA. So I appoint my brother as a POA, right, to now go submit the documents on my behalf, right? You got to figure it out. There's always a way, So once they do that, this is around around May time. Once they do that, since I didn't have the money in the account, I pretty much told them, hey, I will get that before now the next appointment, because you have the first appointment, you submit, you get approved, visa. Now you have the next appointment for the residency, right? Yeah. So I told them I'll have that before them. They're like, okay, well, we'll forward your application. Everything will go. And okay. So I said, okay. So months go by now. September. I told myself, I don't hear nothing from October. I'm going to just now enroll into school, right? I'm going to enroll into, I need to take a different route, right? So I'm like, I'm just going to just enroll into school. So October was just now I don't hear nothing. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to, because even when I met with those lawyers, the ones that ended up ghosting me, I said, as we do these two routes, as another backup, I'm going to just start my application to learn Portuguese and get a school here. So I pretty much was attacking 3 different routes.
Yeah, because you could do student visa.
Exactly. So now October comes around. I start school. I now have no job at the time. Still didn't get a job, but now I start school. I'm now just hustle mode. Everything's going on in the world. That's when the war broke out and all that. I'm so like down to my last because I had lost my job. I'm now seeing like symptoms, right? Like I'm having like sleep deprivation symptoms. My eyes was just like rapidly moving. I couldn't stop them. Yeah, this is bad. My hands start like aggressively shaking. Like I was down to my last. Like I'm down to my last now, barely eating, about to start school. When I met you guys, I think Rick might have saw it. I don't know. But when I met you guys for the first time at the Thanksgiving, like I was going through it. Like nobody saw it, but like I'm having the symptoms. I have to like put my hand on the other hand to yeah, this is bad. So now I'm also in and out the hospital, right? And now I have private, but I wasn't even paying those expenses because I was just like, I need to just every week was just budget to just €2 pinga dose chicken for the day type thing, you know? Like I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. So I now meet with these new lawyers. I met a new lawyer. So shout out to her, Sophia Castro Pinto. I gotta say her name. So I'm so jaded at this point. I now start school, right? I don't know about the whole nomad visa route. What happened? I'm waiting. I was like, I need a lawyer. I just need help. So I contacted a friend I knew from over the bridge that actually saw me that day at the situation in the airport, right? He saw me that day. Like, yo, what happened? I explained to him. He's like, that's crazy. So I call him. I'm like, listen, I'm like, I'm still going through the situation. He's like, what? It's been a year. And like, I'm like, yes. I was like, I need help finding a lawyer. And this is what I told him. I said, look, if you would not refer this person to your mother, don't give it to me. I was like, yo, I've been through 4 lawyers now. Like, it's hard. Like, I'm in a new country. I don't know people here. The biggest thing when foreigners operating in a new country is trust, right? So I'm just like, I need you to help me with this. If you want to give her to her mother, don't give it to me. He's like, bro, I got you. I trust her. This and that. I'm like, okay, cool. So, because even before meeting with them, I met with 2 other lawyers that raised a great point. They were like, hey, don't start the school application yet, because if you do, now you're gonna have multiple applications in the system, and that might make some questions, right? I was like, oh, okay. This is another lawyer appointment I went to, because I went to this other lawyer just for information.
Right. So you found this new attorney. You gave her a shout out. Let's give her a shout out again.
Yes. Sofia Castro Pinto, muito obrigado para ti. So yeah, like I had mentioned, I went to my good friend. He connected me with her. So I meant to meet with her. Because again, through this journey, you still don't know what you don't know, right? So I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. My nomad visa was in application. The manifestation of interest visa was kind of to wraps, and then I was also starting school, right? But I didn't hear anything or any updates from the nomad visa. So this is around end of October, beginning November. I applied back in May, early May was the yeah. So that's why I said if come October comes, I'm going to start the school visa. So I went to her. How you doing, Sophia? We had it was our Zoom meeting. I told her everything about my case, about my situation. And I just said, I need help. I just need help. I was honest with her about everything. Same approach. And I said the same thing. I need you to help me do this from here. I'm not going back to do this. So she, heard everything, took her notes, and she was like, listen, Laboss, like, I'm going to help you. Like, I want to help you. Your situation is very complicated, but I'm going to help you. I just need you to be patient because this is not a normal situation, and I'll do my part. I'm like, all right, cool, perfect. Then I was honest with her. I was like, listen, before we start, I have to be honest with you. I can't pay you right now, right? I lost my job months ago. I was down to my last. So I was like, I just wanted to be honest with you up front. If you decide you don't want to work with me, that's okay. But I unfortunately don't have the money. I've been job hunting. I've been grinding for months now. I don't know when it's going to come. She cut me off. She was like, Laboss, don't worry about that. Like, we need to help you get situated. I'm like, I rock with her. I can rock with her, So,
sometimes Portuguese folks are so kind. It's just like, am I on planet Earth?
it was
who
just,
are these people?
and I think throughout this journey, you know, when people are just genuinely want to help, right? Genuinely. I was like, I don't have the money and I don't know when I can get it to you. And it wasn't until 5 months later I was able to. So she was amazing. So now that's now we're in like November time. We had start the school. I'm waiting. I'm just now those other two lawyers that I told you that I had went to get some information about. So this is like lawyer 5, 6, but they were the ones that had mentioned to check the status of the old application, right? Of the application. Don't apply for the student visa yet. And then Sophia was working on her part. So I just had to be patient, right? So this is just hustle mode. Days is just going to school. I get home. I'm job hunting the whole rest of the day. I emailed the embassy in Boston about the application. No response. Another email, no response. A third email, I get a response, right? So again, you have to want it, guys. Like if you whether it's Portugal or any other country, like you have to really want this. So they finally respond to me because I said, what's the status of my application? They go, I'm sorry to inform you, but your application was never processed. I said, what is going on? So I'm waiting months. Yeah. So I was like, why? So basically she said, we're awaiting your bank account information. I explained to her when I went to when I appointed my brother as the POA on my first appointment. Remember, guys, the first appointment is when you submit all your documents, right?
In country, in the country that you have legal residency or citizenship.
Correct. And the lady, I was like, because again, I wasn't there in person, but I'm speaking to her on the phone. The lady said, we're going to process this. Just make sure to have the money in your bank account before the residency appointment. They never processed it. I'm like, yo. So guys, if I did not follow up, exactly. So as much as I didn't want to work with other lawyers and things did not work out, I just learned from each one. Like it still benefited me positively somehow, right? So remember, guys, so this visa, when I first applied, I believe it was around, you need 3,000 or 4,000 in your bank account. At this point, it's 10,000. I have nothing. I have nothing. So I'm like, so they go, once you send us the bank information, we'll process the application. I sent her my CGD, just bank account information of my name and IBAN number. I moved by faith. I was just hoping she didn't say nothing. So I send that in. I get an email like a couple of days later. I'm here. We have processed your visa application. I said, okay, God is working. You know what I'm saying? Because guys, you're supposed to submit it with 3 months of bank statements of the money in the account. So now you guys are starting to see why really.
Oh, that's interesting because we didn't have to do that. We only sent because we opened the bank account with 900 euros.
Mm-hmm.
And so right before the appointment, we transferred a bunch of other money.
Mm-hmm.
And so 3 months would have showed 900 euro.
Yeah.
And then boom, a bump up, at that last month. So that's interesting. So, but this is why, folks, you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait. You need to move. Because things change. Every day things are changing and they're going to make things harder and harder.
Every day. And this is why I also stopped asking people in the community, hey, what happened in your appointment? Hey, what paperwork did you bring? Because not even every month, every other week, there's something new. So my lawyer was updating me constantly. Hey, they just dropped this. I went to go look it up myself. I didn't even see it. Like, so it's not like Channel 7 News, everything is out. So that's why it's like, again, you block out the noise, and just, you gotta really want it. So thankfully I had followed up, so now they process this. So now this is November. So December comes, right? So again, this is like 2 months now of just hustling everything. I was just like, like I just need some good news at some point. So December 7th, I got the email. 7, that's the holy number. I got the email. We're hereby to inform you that your visa has been approved.
Yes.
Yeah, I started, I'm running.
Did you cry? Did you cry?
You know, the little tear came out. I'm running the apartment. I went outside. I started running along the water. I said, my roommates came out like, yo, what happened? I'm like, I'm approved. I'm approved. I was like, I'm approved. So the second part of the email. So listen, guys, this is where it gets interesting. The second part of the email says, please come into the embassy or mail in your passport to receive the visa.
Stamp.
So guys, remember, you're supposed to come in at least once, right? The first time I did not go in because of my situation, being undocumented. I was here getting my treatment. I pointed my brother as POA. At that appointment, that lady said, you're just going to have to come in the second time once you get approved. So in my head, I said, okay, if I'm approved, I'll leave the country, right? But now on the email, it's saying to come in or mail in your passport. I said, why is he? So this whole time I scroll and I check the name on the email. It's a new name. So when I had followed up, it's a new person on my application. So they probably didn't know about the first time. Yeah. So you see how God works. So the whole month I'm stressing. I'm like, yo, why is it taking so long? Yada, yada, yada. Because remember, I'm not leaving the country and I technically can't. If I do, you know how long I'm going to wait. So now when I get the new email, you know, you could come in or mail it in. I was like, I'll mail it in. Yo, I was like,
of course.
I was like, I'll mail it in. No problem.
That's what we did too.
Okay. Yep. There you go. So mail it in. So remember, so now and the crazy thing that I realized, now I'm now following up with my mentor. So this, again, my father figured the one that was there, the situation at the airport. My passport was expiring in April. It is December at this time. He was like, yo, you can't travel anyways. I said, what you mean? He goes, I was like, the passport's in April. I was like, if I have to go back, I will. He's like, no, it's within 6 months. Yeah. So guys, stuff you just don't know. I was like, what? He had a situation where he was traveling with his family. His passport was expiring in 3 months. They denied him. So basically, guys, I could not travel because my passport was expiring in April within 6 months. If your passport's expiring, you have to get a new one before. So think of whatever the expiration date is, it's 6 months before. So everything just worked out. So even if I was like, I'm going to go back, I couldn't because it was expiring. So it was just everything was just slowly falling into play. Yeah.
So did they put the visa in your passport with only 3 months left to go? Because when we went, they were like, it needs to be 6 months away from expiration before we'll put the visa in.
Yeah. So they did. But what happened was, while they were doing that, I was here renewing my passport. Yeah. So basically, they just pretty much explained that the visa will be on your old passport, but when you travel or whatever, you have to show the new passport. So basically, you have to travel with both. Now, listen. So now listen, guys, here's something y'all need to know. Everybody watching, when it comes to mailing or shipping in Portugal, just don't do it. just listen. We got faith. But with this, nah. Yo. So I'm on James Bond. This needs to get to the States, right? So Auntie Beverly was flying back. I handed it to her. Yep. So when she got there, my cousin, the same one that flew me up the laptop a year ago, he be traveling like crazy. He has the flights, everything. He flew to Alabama to pick up the laptop. The passport. Yep. Went back to, because remember also too, it has to come in from a Massachusetts
American.
Right.
You know? Right. So gave it to him. He mails it into the embassy. So now it's at the embassy. Where I messed up, also too, with the paperwork initially, the background check, you have to have keep that sealed.
Right.
printed the results and gave it to them. They're like, whoa, no, you can't. Yeah, they're like, no, you can't. Yeah, so that was that took like an extra 3 weeks delay, because I had to do another one, send that in again, because I just,
Did it have to be apostilled?
I don't remember.
Or just unopened?
I think I did, but I think I did that here though.
You can't apostill. Well, you might be able to apostill it at the embassy.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. So, so for those of you who don't know, apostille is basically like a government notary.
Yep.
For like that's the easiest way to explain it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, great question. Yes. They said if I don't do it unopened, yeah, I'd have to get that. So I pretty much just did it again, send it in closed, didn't say nothing. Like I just, y'all are gonna take this because I can't get apostille. I'm not in the States. So yeah, so that's a whole episode. So now it's December and my passport is in also too, what I did was I bought a Apple tag. I taped it on there to track it the whole time, just in case. Yeah. You listen, you gotta, what if it got lost? You gotta think 3 steps ahead. And what's crazy is
we didn't do that.
Yeah. And what's crazy is Auntie Beverly tells me she had a situation with her suitcase when she landed, but she happened to say, you know what? I'm going to put this in my purse rather than my suitcase. Just imagine. Yeah. I was just like, God is just looking. Yeah. So I'm like, so I'm like, all right, everything's just falling into play. So this is December time. So now the visa is stamped. They now send it back to my home address. And now it's just there. I literally was like, I don't know how I'm going to get it. Like, it's just there. I'll figure it out when it comes. I got to a point in my life where I was like, I can't be stressing no more. I'm dealing with medical problems. I'm in and out the hospital literally while in school. I'm doing blood tests, so I can't even eat because they have to just constantly doing tests. And then, do you guys remember last December that like bug that was going around Portugal? Everybody was getting like a flu or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I got.
Yeah, you got sick.
Amon got sick.
Yep. Yeah. So everybody got it. So on top of everything that I was going on medically and physically with my 2 tears, I got that. So I ended off the year like, I can't wait for 2024 because there's no way it's gonna be a 2023 part 2. Like I just need this year to just the clock to hit. So yeah. So now we're in January. So I'm waiting for. I'm just pretty much. Before January, also too, in December, my roommates come to me and goes, hey, I'm thinking of moving to Thailand. Do you want to take over the lease? I was like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Because remember, when I got into the apartment, I got here on a sublease. Mm-hmm. So now, and again, guys, you also need a 1-year lease as part of the application process. And my place is home. I was like, I'm not going nowhere, right? So he decided he was leaving, and then the other roommate decided to leave as well. They was, so I'm like, cool. So now I'm going into the new year. Remember, no job, right? Now I got to find 2 new roommates because I'm not gonna, because the landlord told us, hey, we're not going to just put you on the new lease. It's the new year. We're just gonna create a new one, right? And y'all know these Portuguese, some of these landlords, they be trying to get some money up front. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, whoa. So, financially sound, I got to get my roommates first before I sign this. And then, listen, when I tell you I'm moving my faith, I don't even have money for my part of the rent, So that's, So my appointment now, the residency appointment is now set for March 28th. Let me double check here. Yeah, March 28th. So January, February, I'm locked in. Don't talk to me. Don't text me. Don't call me. This is my life on the line. I got to get a job. Because remember, when I first applied, I had the job. So I needed for the visa, I got to get a job. I got to get 2 roommates. And I'm grinding so much, I forgot about the money in the account. I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a sec. So how did I get my passport back? My friend was flying to Cape Verde. He lives in Rhode Island. But he was flying out of Logan Airport in Boston. He's flying to Cape Verde. He texted me. He's like, yo, I'm going to Cape Verde, but I have a 24-hour layover in Lisbon. Do you want to meet up? I was like, yeah. I was like, yo, I need you to do something for me.
Pick up my passport.
And he's the one that connected me with my previous job. So he knows about this whole journey because he knew about my situation of being undocumented and I couldn't travel. He was like, yo, just to let you know, if you can't make it to the company outing, you might get let go. That's why I got let go at that first remote job. Yeah. So he knew. So he was like, yeah, cool. So my brother links up him. He has the passport. He brings me up the passport. Let me tell you something. I open up that passport. I'm looking at the visa for like 10 minutes, just kissing it. Yo, I'm just in joy. Like it's happening, you know? So now we're in February. So I have to, so I tell the landlord, I was like, hey, so they try to tell me at first, you need to find the roommates by January 1st. I told them, hey, can we push it? Yeah, they gave me 2 weeks. I'm like, hey, everyone's traveling for the holidays. Could you give me to like the 15th, right? At least, or push it to February. He was like, okay. And he was like, I told the owner that I won't put this on the market because you lived here. You've been a great, guest here, etc. Yeah, tenant, excuse me. And then he was like, I was like, okay, just give me that time. So now that January 15th comes, I'm on Idealista and Facebook groups every day trying to find roommates, right? Rick Halisi, y'all know you can't live with everybody. You can't. So I'm taking my time. Like as much as I want to just say, oh, hey, you can take it, like something they said or something they showed me, I was like, nah, I can't, nah. And I'm clean. Like I'm the guy that's clean. I don't play that. I broom every morning just cause. So I'm taking my time to find these roommates. So then I tell them, I told him like, hey, I need more time, like mid-February. He done tells me, oh, just so you know, the owner, there's 2 families interested and they want to give it to the family. I said, well, I'm not going nowhere. Just like that, yo, just like how I said at the airport. I was like, I'm not
at the airport.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't play that. I'm Haitian. We're not going nowhere. So he goes, well, you have to have the people. I was like, okay. I was like, we'll sign the contract March 1st. I didn't even have nobody. I was like, I'm gonna sign the contract March 1st. I still didn't have people. Listen,
So you had people that inquired, but they weren't up to the Laboss standards. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. Yeah, I didn't put in the match roommate. So technically I didn't have any new roommates. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna tell you, our youngest would not have qualified.
See?
with his nasty behind.
Yeah.
No, he's messy. He's messy.
Tell by what they're asking. I'm like, oh, no. So now I'm in February mode again. Just I have to confirm the roommates by March 1st. So I'm so down to my last. I'll tell you guys. I'm in class. There's a guy, one of my good Indian friends, Ojual, right? He's been wanting to meet up with me after class for a while, right? He's like, let's get some food. This and that. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because right after class, I'm going home and I'm just hustling. He's like, no, let's go. He's like, let's go. I'm like, nah, I'm good. He was like, no, Laboss. He's like, let's go grab some lunch. It'll be only like an hour. Let's catch up. So we go sit down. I have no money. Like I'm no money, right? Like pursuit of happiness type thing. And he goes, oh, go grab, you're not going to grab something? I'm like, nah, I'm good, right? Obviously, I'm hungry as crap. I'm not, how am I going to pay for it? So he goes, don't worry, it's on me. In my head, I'm like, oh, well, I can't pay you back. So I'm like, okay, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'll eat when I get home. He's like, no. He's like, get up, like, grab some food, right? So I'm like, all right. He's just being persistent, right? This is a good friend. I grab a salmon sandwich. No, excuse me. I grab a coxinha de frango, the mini appetizer. He's like, Laboss, get a meal. He's like, get a meal. Like, you're getting me mad. Get a meal. So I grab a meal. I ate that thing, Rick Halisi, live. Like that was probably the best meal I had in weeks. Like I have. So he goes. So after I finish, like I ate it so quick. He goes, Laboss, I know something's going on, and we're not leaving till you tell me. I'm like, why? He goes, because in class you've been quiet, you know me, the energy guy. And he was like, I saw you just ate that meal like you haven't eaten. I'm like, damn, this is a good friend. Like this is a good friend. He was like, yo, like, he was like, I know. He was like, so I told him everything. He was like, damn. He's like, y'all American got some guts. He was like, I would have went back to India. He was like, I would have went back to India if this was me. So yeah, it's just that's the season I was in. But I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Like I knew once I got the job, once I got everything, Portugal is a great place. This is home, and it's just affordable with the privilege we have of our passport. So that's why I just kept pushing, right? So now, I think it was week 3 of February, I find one roommate, right? So it was a friend of a friend, right? He's a friend of a friend. He's Nigerian, older, right? Like his wife and kids are in Nigeria. He's here, clean guy. I know him. So now I have to sign by March 1st. So I'm like, man. So 2 days before March 1st, I find another roommate, my Egyptian friend, who's like a brother to me now. I find him in one of the WhatsApp groups. He was in the same situation as me. He needed the 1 year for the residency, etc. So I had all that. So March 1st came. So I'm in. So we signed the lease. Also on March 1st, I got a notification that I got approved for the NHR. Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So my lawyer, Sophia, I don't know how, she was around the because this, remember, I think at the time the application, everything had to be in before 2024.
24, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know, just for you all who don't know, you got caught up in the transition from Seth to Ima at the same time as all of this other stuff.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So because of that, again, I'm reading. That's why I'm reading all the information from Seth. She's like, no, Laboss, you need this. Guys, she was working around the holidays to switch because apparently whoever set up my NIF set it up wrong. So I had to, exactly 2 years ago. So she had to change the address to the NIF, get it from the apartment I have, just so much. Like I'm so thankful for her. And around the holidays, she's doing this. So March 1st was like blessings just pouring, right? I got approved from the NHR. I signed the lease on the apartment. The same day I got an email that for the job that I currently have, they pretty much said, we want to re-interview you. Because I applied for them back last year and they denied me. And I was just persistent. I reapplied, I think it was like early February. But this time I had the name of the man. Look how God works. When I got denied the first time, there was 3 managers on the call. One of the managers, it was his first day. He's now my manager now. He was the one that was hiring. So I just took all those emails and even though I applied, I emailed all the managers directly.
Skip HR. Skip HR.
Cut off the middleman. Yes. Best advice ever. So that was all March 1st. So I'm like, blessings is pouring. So now, now my appointment is March 28th, right? So now I'm like finally kind of like able to breathe. I got the job. I signed the lease. I have all the documents. Personally, family-wise, that was around the time Haiti went into like a state of emergency because everything that was going on. So mentally now I'm just back in the state of just like, oh my goodness, So now I messaged the lawyer. I say, so we have an appointment coming up. I have the appointments coming up. And this is how, and I'm going to tell her to watch this. So Sophia, thank you. Like she literally used to text me like, hey, how you doing today? Just wanted to check in on you. Like just simple. She don't get paid for that. Simple, genuine things. Hey, I'm worried about you. I haven't heard from you in a couple of days, this and that. Because at first I was texting her every day. I'm texting her every day. And then when the whole thing with Haiti happened, I kind of just went into a shell again, etc.
Was it a earthquake or a flood?
No. So this was the situation with just like the country, one of the gang members broke out and all the gang members just Yeah, broke out of the jails of Haiti. Now they just went berserk.
Yeah,
And
they
then
went nuts.
I think I missed that. Oh my gosh. Okay.
yeah, I'll tell you, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. They did like the prime minister wasn't even able to come back in. Like
Yeah, they did a coup like thing.
they did a coup.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
coup.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Yeah,
it
it's
was
crazy.
crazy.
It was yeah. So I'm just that's the latest.
Which is probably why so many Haitians left and at around that same time and went to Springfield.
Correct. Because at the time, I don't know what the update is it now, but there was a humanitarian act, CHNV, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela. And if you have a family member in the States that can sponsor you, you can out of those countries because of the civil unrest and you could come in. Yeah. So there was a lot. Yeah. And so I'll send you all of it. It's just madness. So a week before the appointment, about 2 weeks before the appointment, I text Sophia, right? I text my lawyer, hey, appointment's coming up. I think I'm good. I got everything, right? I got the background check, got the fingerprints, got the lease, had gotten the roommates, got the job. So I have the work contract, everything. She goes, do you have the money in the bank account? I said, oh, I'm hustling and focused so much because so much was going on. I'm one person, right? You got to just attack everything by one, right? So I was just focused on the roommates. Then once I got that, then I focused on the job. I was so like, and then when that stuff happened, I was so just out of it. I totally forgot the money in the bank account. So guys, 2 weeks, I have 2 weeks, 2 semanas to get 10,000 euros, not dollars, euros in my
right.
account, or mission is over. So I'm sitting right here like, well, I got no job. I'm like, wow. So basically I figured it out and I got it in there 3 days before, right? So now I'm approaching the appointment, March 28th. So the reason why I'm still kind of nervous, because one, you have to have 3 months of bank statements in the account. I have none because I just got it in there 3 days before. You also have to have 3 months pay stubs from your job. My job wasn't starting until April 1st, and my appointment was March. Yes. So I prayed. I was so nervous. I had to go on faith. I called the big three. The big three is three people back home close to me that they pray. I was like, here's a situation. I need y'all to pray. Like because again, I've heard from ex-person friend, hey, they only asked for this document. And then another person said, well, they asked for this and this. Like, you just don't know. So
you don't know. And even on the same day, they asked Rick for
what?
I think I had to show 3 documents:
proof of address,
passport,
and that's basically it. Yeah, but the bank statement, she just kind of glanced at it.
She's
just
like,
the last month.
I don't need.
Just kind of glanced.
I had a whole folder full of stuff.
Wow.
And I went to put the folder. She said, no. I was like, okay.
Now for me, I was giving blood.
Oh my goodness.
I had to sign over my firstborn.
Wait, you guys
same day, different people.
See?
Same hour, different
Perfect
people.
example.
So when we went in, because everybody kept saying, "Oh, they'll take you guys together because you're a couple, so it makes sense for them to sit you both down."
It's the same paperwork. It's the same paperwork.
We walked in there and we told the guy, we're together, we're a couple. He said, no, one at a time. Because if we would have went in together, they let us do it together. She'd had the same lady I had.
Yeah. Oh,
so you guys had to go through that. But she had to, and then she had to, because she went in the room with me, and then she went back out, and her number was called. So another person came in, so she had to wait till, Because when I got done, another lady came in, and she should have came right behind me.
Got it. Man.
I missed my number. So she's like, and so the lady I had tooed for days, and she was like, "No, you have to wait. Go back out there. I'll call your number in a while."
Yeah.
So every single piece of paper that I had, she examined it, she scanned it, she put it in my file.
Wow.
Nothing for him.
Nothing. It blew me away.
So, folks,
Wow.
just because so-and-so expat who just got processed a month ago says X, Y, and Z, that is not necessarily going to be your experience. If there's anything consistent about Portugal, it's that each person, there's inconsistencies. You can just count on the consistently, there will be inconsistencies, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect example right there. And y'all appointment was the same day.
Yes.
So yeah, I was nervous, I think we can still be nervous and have faith, right? So appointment day comes, right? I made a whole vlog for it. If you're watching, head over to my channel, behind the scenes, getting your appointment in Portugal. I dressed nice. I got my suit on, white suit, turtleneck. Yeah, I'm not playing. What? This is life on the line. I'm looking fresh. So I show up to the appointment. Are you guys ready for this? I show up to the appointment. I get that's something, guys. Your appointments in Portugal, please just show up early. The line is going to be long. Save yourself.
Yes.
Show up early. So I show up early. Even though I show up early, we still don't get in until probably maybe 30, 45 minutes later. Yep. And everybody's sitting around, right? There's only one person that went, right? My appointment, I believe, was at 11. His was at 9, and he's still there. So it's confusing. Now, another beauty is I now speak Portuguese. I've been taking classes. I'm on Duolingo. I got friends. So I'm able to hear the conversation that's going on. I'm reading the signs, everything. Y'all know what happened? The system was shut down.
Oh my God.
This is IMA.
This is IMA now.
Yeah.
This is IMA. My appointment was in Lisbon. I forgot what part of Lisbon. Along the Sintra line, one of those stops. I forgot.
Okay.
I'm sorry to inform you guys, but due to the system being shut down, we're going to have to reschedule your appointment. I was like, put mine 3 months from now. I was like, stop playing. Guys, 3 months from now. I went there. I was nervous. We prayed. The system was shut down. Because remember, I could have got somebody behind the desk. Oh, no, you don't have 3 months statement. Oh, no, your pay stubs. The system was shut down. You got to just move by faith.
So did they reschedule you right there on the spot for 3 months from then?
Yeah, okay. Correct. So everybody that was, so there was a lady next to me. I felt so bad. There was a lady next to me. She's in Golan. She's going off. She was like, this happened multiple times. I had to take off work today. Da, 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 da. I felt bad for her, but in my head, I'm like, baby, like this works better for me. So we would just let's accept this prayer real quick. I'm sorry, but
it might have been in her best interest too. She just might not know it.
She just doesn't know it, and you just never know, right? So I sat down at the chair. I'm speaking, guys. If falo português só com ele. I'm speaking straight Portuguese with the guy. And when I approach, I tell them I'm Haitian. Then they do see the American passport, but so we're connecting off that, Angola and Haiti, they got the Zouk connection. Like, so we're connecting off that. And I told him, I was like, yeah, can you please put it 3 months from now? I was like, I do have to travel at some point though within. They were like, okay, no problem. As long as you're back in the country before your visa expires, because the visa expires end of March. So now because technically you're supposed to get the residency right then and there if approved. But now the appointment's in July. So he pretty much like writes me a note. It was expiring in April. So he now writes me a note for just in case if there was any baloney that happened in the airport, but I have the visa now. I have documentation, which I was trying to tell the team to do. I needed in writing, hey, X has his appointment coming up in July. Here's his visa. This appointment was rescheduled due to the system being shut down. I was like, cool. So leave that. I left. I started praying outside. I'm smiling, everything. So now the appointment is July 8th. They rescheduled it to Porto. So So I got to go up to Porto. So I now my appointment part 2. Again, this is the same vlog. I picked up the vlog right then and there. Wore the same fresh white jacket. I go to the appointment. It is packed in there. Like, I was early and waiting for a while, right? That appointment day kind of made me understand their frustration. They are overworked and understaffed. Like, it is packed and underpaid, So the lady in there she was up, like the front person lady. She was upset. She sent 2 people back. I was like, okay. I pulled up to her. I'm speaking straight Portuguese with the accent, straight Portuguese. She goes, okay, muito obrigado, like espera ali. So she was saying, thank you so much. Just wait over there. Yeah. She checks my passport. She goes, tu es americano. She asked me if I was American. She was like, wow, I didn't think you were. You speak Portuguese very good. So I got her smiling. I'm the first person in there got her smiling. You know what I'm saying? She was like, wait over there. You good. That's what y'all got to do. Y'all got to integrate somehow. So they call me into the appointment room. She asked, so just like Rick, I got a whole folder, and I made copies just cause. Like, I'm like, I have everything. Let me have more. Like, I came over prepared. And
we bought a printer.
Yeah,
we went out and bought a printer because it was that deep.
Yeah, it's no joke, So I had everything, And she asked me for like 2 things. And then I think because she saw that I had everything, she just kept asking. And she was a very nice young lady, so I'm talking to her in Portuguese, making her smile. And after that, she pretty much says, like, you're all set. So I'm like, so am I approved? And she goes, looking at everything here, you should be all set. So I said, ma'am, am I approved? She goes, so what happens next? Because they scanned everything, took the documents. She goes, what happens next is we send this to the higher ups, and everything looks according and well. You should be all set. I said, so ma'am, am I approved? Like, I need to hear, am I approved? And what I caught on is she technically can't say that, but basically she was saying yes. So listen, I'm like, I need to see my visa in hand. You know what I'm saying? I need to see my visa in hand. So we take the picture. The picture took like probably 10 minutes to take because I'm so happy. I was smiling.
And you can't smile.
So it was funny. And there's also only 2 workers in there. So 2 workers and like 12 desks. So I asked her, I was like, is everyone taking the day off? She goes, no, this is the only workers we have. I'm like, wow. So that kind of also made me just feel for them more of, hey, like, even like things are taking a while because they just don't have workers in there,
Which is interesting because every single desk was filled when we went there.
Yeah.
Like, maybe there was 1 or 2 out of like the 15.
Yeah.
Of course, again, this was understaffed, but still.
Yeah. So I literally looked around. I'm like, so nobody showed up today?
Right.
She was like, no, just us working. I was like, wow, okay. So yeah. So I leave that appointment. I text Sophia right away. I text my lawyer. She goes, Laboss, you can smile now. You're good. I said, okay, but I just need to wait for the visa to come in,
Yeah, for the green card.
Yeah. So that's July 8th. August 1st. I don't know if you
got that card.
You got the card.
You got the card.
Yeah,
August
1st. You want to cover up that thankfully it was kind of blinding, so we didn't see your little number on there.
Yeah. So August 1st, 2024. God is good. All glory. Like,
and so our issue was like, we got approved from the embassy October 25th, 26th,
Yeah.
something like that, 2023.
Okay.
So right before we met you.
Okay.
And our appointment was not until June
Yeah, June.
2023.
So our visa had expired.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't meet you. We didn't meet you until November 2023. Okay, so because we had Thanksgiving here that first year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our visa had expired in March. And so we were stuck from March until mid-June when we had our appointment.
Mm.
And again, this was all under Seth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, right. So we met you about 7 months after we had gone for our appointment. But here's the thing, like we had to go back to the States for a wedding, you know, and some other stuff. And is like, okay, is our card going to get here in time? And what happens if it doesn't get here in time? Right. So we had our little piece of paper from Seth saying, you know, did it even have our official number on there? I don't know. I can't remember. But are we going to get the card? Because we had heard horror stories.
Yeah, you know, when they come to deliver it, they won't deliver it. They have to give it to you. They won't put it in your mailbox. I mean, you got to be home. And then you didn't know when they were coming.
Yep.
So we're home every day, making sure that we're home during the time, looking out the window to make sure CTT see that truck or whatever. And it's like, okay, this is just monotonous. It's just goofy because you're stuck. You're a prisoner in the house.
Yeah. I was same thing. I'm in the house every day. Every doorbell, I'm sprinting. Yeah, because if you're not there when they come, you don't know where it's going. Like
Nope.
Horror stories. Like I guess I had a friend that knew somebody that they weren't there when it came. They sent it back, and they just didn't know. They just didn't know. So
Yep. And we had people here who we had helped move here who had their appointments before we had our appointment.
Wow. Yeah.
But they didn't get their cards before we got their card. We got our cards, which is interesting. So like they had their appointments in February, March, April, and they didn't get their cards until after we did. But then again, they didn't go to the Lisbon office either. So we just went to the one over in Saldana. So we were lucky in that regard. But it came within 2 weeks and they put it in the mailbox.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't delivered hand. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Because I saw the CTT truck and I was like, huh. And then I saw him leave and it's like, well, he didn't bring anything up, but something told me to go check the mailbox.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they were in the mailbox.
Wow.
I was like, we're supposed to sign off for that stuff.
Yeah.
If there's anything consistent about Portugal, it's the inconsistencies.
That's it.
Right? Because we had heard you got to be home. You got to be home. You got to be home to sign off on it, blah, 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 or it'll get sent back, you know. And we could not afford that. Like we got places to go. Tickets are bought, and I don't buy the refundable tickets. I buy the cheap tickets. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So Laboss, was it worth it?
150%. 150%. Now I didn't know I was gonna go through all that, but 100%, it was worth it.
Why?
This is home. Like this is home. You know, first time in my life where I felt at home. I don't really have. There's some environments you make it out of, you just don't go back. You know, and I just saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, okay, once I get through this, I'm good. It was like I said, it's like I was in a pit, and I'm just, you know, at the edge of the pit, just like peeking over to get to land, right? If I had gone back, I'm down deeper, you know? So yeah, I learned a lot through the process about myself, about life, cut off the damn middleman, but 100% worth it. And that's why I tell people that, you know, want to come here or people that I've met in their process, you got to really like want to be here. And you got to really want it, because it's not now the US has their long process. The UK has their long process, you know, which I think we're blessed to not have experienced that. But it's still a stressful process here. So I've noticed in the past year that people that have started it or that have waiting, that were just only to just try to get it to, oh, to be in and out of Europe, or this is a nomad space. They didn't follow through with it, you know? So, but for me, I'm like, this is home. So I'm happy. Once I signed my lease, first time in my life where that was happiness to me, right? No money in the account, no money in the account, no job, but I had the place to call home in my home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So eu adoro Portugal.
So what does home mean?
Home? Like for me, home is not where you're born. Home is not where you grew up. Home is not where your family or friends are. For me, home means like where your heart is, right? Where you find yourself being the best version of yourself, right? Where you're unlocking all those talents and desires and passions and dreams that you want, right? Because like look at a plant, depending on what's around it, water and photosynthesis is for it to grow, right? So that's kind of like us. So your home for me is like your base, your peace, and just your happiness. Like that's home.
Yeah.
That's home for me. And for a lot of people watching, deep down, y'all know it's not in the States. Let's keep it real. So and it may not be Portugal. It may not be Mexico, like Rick and Elise. Like we're not saying drop everything and flood to Portugal, but if you're in a space where you don't feel at home, I truly believe home is for somebody somewhere. And since the beginning of time, people have been migrating to different parts of the world for a better life.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's the thing. The thing is, like you were saying, it's not that the U.S. is your home. You're just used to it. You're used to, the language, how to get around, the system.
Right.
But there's a lot more out there and a lot of different places that you can go to that you will feel as home.
Yeah. So how can people get in touch with you?
Yes, Portugal Property Insight Tours. Guys, throughout my journey, this is why I started this. This is for potential homeowners, renters who have the inability to view properties in person. That is where I come in. I'm the person on the ground. I'm doing all the property tour visits for you. And I also do videos on potential locations in Portugal that you would be interested in, giving you a non-agent's perspective and feedback, right? Things that you will need to look out for before closing on the home, before renting your apartment. So Portugal Property Insight Tours, please make sure you guys check that out. Looking forward to working with you guys. That'll be in the description with Rick and Elise. You can also stay in touch with me on my YouTube channel, The Laboss Show. For a lot of you guys watching, I know you guys have sons or daughters that are looking to move abroad, or you want them to get out your house. Let them know. They will see that I'm doing it. And you can follow me on my journey as I'm vlogging here in Portugal. Thank you so much.
And with that, we will leave it there. Yeah. If you need help moving abroad, we have our Move Abroad Toolkit. It's in the description below. If you need help one-on-one to get your money straight or to get a Move Abroad plan, we offer one-on-one coaching. All of that information is in the description below. And of course, to get your money straight, it's Beyond the Bling, our financial freedom course for late bloomers like ourselves. So everything that we have learned to get from negative 22,000 to 1.1 million in net worth, we are teaching in this course. And you want to order it now because the price will be going up. Yesterday's price is not tomorrow's price. We love y'all and we'll see you later. Bye.
Wow. Join the channel.